Welcome once again to the crash course in CAT tools in the English version. My name is Delia Dragogia, and I'm here to show you today the basic functions of three very important tools in Translator's starter, I would say, toolkit. We will be seeing WordFast, MadeCat, translation tools, and then also a quality check tool, which is ΤΞΓΜΔ. So if you could just write me in the chat if you can still see me and hear me clearly, and you can also see my screen. Perfect. So we will be starting with WordFast. I'll show you the basic functions and what each button does, how we upload and download texts and translation memories and glossaries in and from WordFast. And after that, we will have about 5 minutes for you to ask me anything that you maybe didn't understand, or maybe if I speak too quickly, you can always write me in the chat and I will try to slow down. So after I show you WordFast, you will have time for you to, I will answer your questions, or maybe you would like me to show something again. Okay, so don't get stressed throughout the process of me showing you how WordFast works. We'll have time afterwards for you to ask me anything. Let's get started. So, freetm.com. Okay, you're very welcome. Freetm.com. That's the link that we search for so that we can go in WordFast anywhere, the free version, because there's also one where you pay to use it. So you enter your email address, a password, you confirm that you're not a robot, and you just log in. You don't have to download anything, you don't have to set up nothing. You just Google freetm.com and you give your credentials here. And this is the user interface of WordFast. Okay, it's a pretty simple setup. The first thing that we have to do is to upload a text. Okay, so we are here at the File tab. We click Upload, upload a document, file, or text. And here we today will choose a file from my PC, so it will be a local file. And this is how you will also try to work so that you can exercise on WordFast. Choose file, and we'll be working with this one. After I choose the file, upload and open. Uploading, please wait. For now, we will work without a TM so that I can show you afterwards how you can add or create TMs and TBs. TM stands for translation memory and TB stands for term base, glossary. Okay, we will explain the difference between those two later. So work without TM, save. And there you have it. This is the text, the source text that you will be trying to translate, let's say, into Greek, for example. So now we have the source text. In order for us to save time, we can upload in a CAT tool translation memories, TMs, and glossaries, term bases, TBs. So to do that, we go here, TMs and glossaries in this tab, and we click Setup. As you can see, there is already a glossary here. This is a glossary from English into Greek from IATE, the European term base, which is in read-only mode because it's not ours to edit. It's a term base from IATE, which you can use for your own convenience throughout the translation process, but you cannot edit, you cannot change anything in that, because if anyone could make changes in IATE's glossary, we would have a problem. So this one is already here. This is a glossary. Okay, we will go and add a translation memory first. So if you want to create a new translation memory, just to keep it on your desktop, and you can import it on any project that you want to translate, you go here and you click create an empty TM. Source language here will be English. It's important that you type in English keyboard, because I typed in Greek keyboard and it didn't show me all these languages. So you have to type in an English keyboard and choose what kind of English you'll be translating from which part of the world. I will just choose plain English. Target language will be Greek. And you can give any assigned name you want. For example, you can have one translation memory for marketing, another one for legal documents, another one for technology. Here, let's say marketing. Okay. And save. And now you can see the translation memory that we just created. There are 0 results in it because we just created it. It will be it will have translation units in it translated after we are finished with our translation, because when you import TMs and TBs in a CAT tool and you translate with them, every result that you give and confirm in the CAT tool in the end gets imported in your TM and TB. Okay, so that's one. If you want to add an existing TM, for example, sometimes the client sends you a URL that you can use to see a TM that they want you to see, and they want you to use that TM as a reference while translating. In that case, you click add a remote TM with a given URL, and you insert the URL that the client has given you here. Okay, and the TM gets uploaded. We won't be working with that today. We'll do something simpler. We will upload a TM from our local files. So I click upload. Assigned name, you can give one if you want. Since the text that we're working with is about Tassimo, I can also name my TM Tassimo. Upload. Choose file. I choose my TM from English into Greek and upload. Okay, TM upload report, total submitted TUs 8. TU stands for translation unit. A translation unit is one segment from here. This is a translation unit with its translation. So translation unit will be translation and the Greek translation here. All this is a translation unit. And our TM contains 8 of these. Okay. So now we have 2 TMs uploaded. The thing about WordFast is that you can only have 1 TM and 1 TB, 1 glossary, at not read-only mode, which means that the results that you can see on those 2, 1 TM and 1 glossary, you can edit them. If I want, I can have 100 TMs in here, but only 1 I can edit. All the others will just receive my results in the end. Okay. And I can see the results from them on my user interface, but I won't be able to edit their results. I will only be able to do that in 1 translation memory and 1 glossary at the same time. All the others will have to be on read-only mode, which means that I will still get their results so that they can help me throughout the translation. They will get my results from my translations in the end, but I won't be able to change anything that they already have in them. Okay. So you first have to click to choose which one you want to be on read-only mode. I would say this one, for example, the one that already has results in it, so that the one that we just created will be open for editing from us. And then you can activate both of them. But it is important that you first click here which one you want to be on read-only mode. Otherwise, you won't be able to activate both of them. Now we go on to glossaries. The first glossary that we have is the one from IATE. It is already on read-only mode, and if I try to change that, I cannot. Because as we said before, IATE doesn't want you to be able to change the results that appear inside their glossary. Now we can go on and add our own glossary. Okay, we'll only be seeing results from this one, a lot, as you can see, but we won't be able to edit anything in it. So same things here. To create your own glossary or term base, it's the same thing. You click on create and you give the source language, the target language, and a name. If you have a given URL from a client for a glossary, you do the same thing here. You click add, choose glossary type, and add a remote glossary with a given URL, and you insert the URL here. And if you want to upload a glossary that you have locally on your desktop, for example, you do the same thing as we did with the TM, upload. You will be probably wondering why, when we tried to upload the TM, WordFast didn't ask for a source and target language, but it does when we try to upload a glossary. That's because glossaries are bilingual in the sense that if you have, imagine it like an Excel file, okay? And you have one column with English words and one column with Greek words. It works both ways because you don't have to think about grammar or syntax or anything as you do in a TM. We said that in TMs, the results that we see are about translation units, not just words, but translation units. I'll show you in a moment, which means the source and its translation, not just one word, the whole segment, the whole unit. Okay, but since the glossary only shows results in plain words, it doesn't matter which language you translate from and into, it shows results for both. So if I have a glossary that has, for example, water in it as a word, as an English word, and nero in Greek, if I search for the translation of water, I will see the Greek translation. If I search for the translation of nero, which is water in Greek, I will see the English translation. So it works both ways. And that's why when I try to upload a glossary, WordPress asks me, which language will you be translating from and into? Because the same glossary can be used for both language pairs, from English into Greek and from Greek into English. Only the glossary, not the TM, because the TM has also to do with the grammar syntax within the translation unit, okay, which is different in every language. So source language will be English, target language will be Greek, and we can again name it Tassimo. Upload, choose file, the format of this file is a TXT one. Okay. Uploading. Perfect. And we have the glossary upload report here. Total submitted terms, not translation units, 200. Okay. Close. Then again, we already have IATE's glossary as read only. So ours will be in editing mode. And we can activate both. After I have arranged my setup for my TMs and TBs, I click Save. And now I can see the results of the TMs here and the results of the TBs here. So if I click on the first segment to translate it, I already have a result here from my TM. However, I can see that it is a 75% match from machine translation powered by WordLingo TM. I can only see results from my TMs from 75% upwards. If the match is less than 75%, I won't be able to see it. It will not appear here. But there is another way to search for it. I'll show you. So I'm here now, and if I'm sure that this one is correct and I want it to be my translation, I can go on TMs and glossaries here, and I can click on copy TU. If I click on that, the result that I can see from my TM here will be copied in my target column, like that. Okay. If I regret it and I don't want it to be like that, I can click on delete TU and it will disappear. It should disappear. But it doesn't want to for some reason. I will try that on another segment again. So we go to the next one. For example, if I go here, I already have a result, 100% match from my TM, and I can see from which one WordFast shows me the result. It is the Tassimo English to Greek. Okay. So I can see the result here. Since it is a 100% match it automatically copies the translation in my segment in the target column. And if I'm completely sure that this one is a translation that I want, then I go to Translation tab here, and I have three options when I finish the translation of every segment. Close and commit, which means that the result that I have given as my translation will update my translation memories. It will be inserted as a TU in my translation memories. It will be saved in them. If I'm not completely sure, I can simply click on close. This one will close the segment. I will move on to the next one, but it will not update my TMs and glossaries with my result. And if I have totally regretted my translation and I want to change it from the start, I click on close and delete target content. So if I do that, it disappears. If I go in here again, I can see the same result once again. If I'm sure but not completely, I choose close. Okay, it closes the segment so that I can move on to the next one. But the result that I have given here will not update my TMs and TBs. Let's try it here. So I am not able to delete my translation unit because the result that I can see here is from the TM that I have on a read-only mode, which means that I am not able to edit anything in it. If the result was from the translation memory that I am able to edit, I would be able to delete this TU from the memory. Okay? Is everything clear till here? Perfect. So I'm here. I choose either close or close and commit, or if I totally regret it, I choose close and delete from the translation tab here. With these two buttons, I can move on to the next or previous open segment. And let's say that I'm completely sure with this one and I want to close and commit. Okay? And I move on to the next one. If I'm sure that this machine translation is correct and I want it to be copied here, I go here, copy to you. Okay? You will be probably wondering what those red things are. These are called placeables in WordFast or tags generally. We will be dealing with them later. So if I'm ready for my translation and I'm sure that it is correct, once again, I go here, close, close and commit. If I have some doubts about this translation and I want a WordFast to remind me after I'm finished with the rest of the segments that I should come back to this one and check my translation again. WordFast has this option. You just simply choose the segment that you want to see again. and you click on the provisional button, which is located in the translation tab. If you do that, on the next one, because we already committed that. Fine. Okay. For some reason it doesn't let us do that. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Well, it's an online tool, so sometimes it needs its time. So, as we were saying, we are here, and we want to make this segment number 3 or 4, provisional. So go to translation, and I click on provisional. Let's take this one. If I do that, the segment number 2 will be marked here as yellow, will be highlighted here and also here. So you will be reminded that you should come back to that later and check or review your translation. All right? If you do that and then you are sure that your translation is ready and you have changed whatever it was that you wanted to change initially, you can choose the same segment again and click on provisional again. In that case, in this way, it should be removed from provisional. This one, it's the tags. We'll be dealing with them. So just close it for now. Okay. So if you're here and you're sure, afterwards you click close and commit, and you're ready. It should be removed from provisional now. It is. It's now green because you have already clicked on close and commit, which means that your result in this translation unit has been imported in your TMs and TBs. So we said that you can only see results here from a TM when you have a result of 75% or more, a match of 75% or more. If there are some words that you want to look up in your TMs, but it doesn't show you results for them because it's not the whole translation unit, but you just want to look up the word machine, let's say. You simply choose it. You choose the word machine. Okay. You go on TMs and glossaries, and you click on concordance. It will open a new tab with your TMs, and you write the word that you're looking for. And now you can see the results of the TMs that you have imported in WordFast in different sentences. in two of them, the first two, you are able to edit or delete the results because they are from the TM that we have marked as able to be edited. But the three other results, which are from the other TM that we have marked as read-only, you are not able to edit or delete anything. So if you, let's say, don't find a result in your TM and you want to look it up in your TB, okay, we already have two results from the TB, the one that we are able to edit, as you can see here. But we can also do a search, as we did with the TM, by clicking on concordance. We can search in the glossaries. So we click on glossary search, a new tab opens again. And you write the word that you're looking for. You click on OK, and you can see 5 different results. As you can see, all of them are from IATE, okay, in different fields with different translations, all of them on read-only mode. But if I search for it with a capital M, I don't find anything. So it's important that you search both ways. Okay, let's go back to the results from IATE. This means that this is the type from the TB that we are using right now. All of them, as we said, are from IATE. Okay, IATE download, etc., etc. So we're not able to edit that, but we're able to see some translations of the same word. We'll close that. Let's search for another word. Let's search for product, okay, in the glossary. Nothing with a capital. A lot. And all of them are on read-only mode because all of them, again, are from IATE, but from different fields: industry, nuclear industry, medical science, land transport, environment, chemistry, law, air transport. You can see the different types of translations in different fields. Okay. And if you just click on glossary search without searching for a certain term, you will be able to see all of the terms that this glossary includes. All of them. The one that we imported, not the one from IATE. Okay, the one that we're able to edit or delete. If I want, I can delete all of the translations here, all of the terms, because maybe I disagree with everything and I don't want it to be like that. I can delete or edit anything I want in this TB, the one that I have marked as open for editing. Okay. So we are here. We saw the setup button, we saw the concordance button, glossary search, and when you open the glossary search, you are able to edit or delete a term and its translation from the term base. If you want to add a term in the term base, the glossary, you click on Add Term. You write the source term, let's say machine, the one that we didn't find in our glossary, but only in IATE. And then as target, we can say the Greek word. You can give any comments you want and the fields that this one can be used in. And you click on Save. All right. And now the term and its translation has been added in our glossary. And if I go back and I search for that term in the glossary search, I should be able to see my result. Machine, the Greek translation, open for editing or deleting. All right. Is everything clear until here? All right. So we were on File tab. We saw what Upload does. If you click on Close, it will be closing this project, this translation, but it won't disappear from your thread on WordFast. If you want it to disappear, you click on Delete. The TMs and glossaries tab is here or also here. It's the same thing. This one is the setup for TMs and glossaries. You can either click on here and you can see your setup, or you can click on TMs and glossaries and setup and you'll see the same thing. After you have confirmed segments, you can either do it by clicking on close commit, close, or close delete, or by Alt and down. Okay. If I'm here and I click, I type up, Alt and down, I move on to the next one. All right. So if I'm here and I want, for example, I have this one, this source segment, which contains a lot of product names. T20 machine, Tassimo T20, Tassimo T20 machine, etc., etc. And I don't want to type all of these in my target because it will be tiring. I can click on copy source, and then the source text will be copied in the target text. Copy source. And then you can go in the segment and change anything that you think that needs to be changed. Okay, but that saves you a lot of time, especially when you have to do with names. Product names that have to remain in their original name. All right. So we did talk a little bit about those red things with numbers. These are called placeables or tags, and they are there to make sure that you follow the same formatting in your target text as the source text. Number one here could either mean that the word machine should be in bold. It could mean that it should be in italics, underlined, yellow, I don't know. It could be an image. It could be a link, anything. So tags are there to make sure that you do follow the formatting that you should. So it is very important that you also place them in your target target text. How do you do that? We are okay, doesn't matter. We are here, for example. Well, in this case, it is a 100% match from our TM, so it was automatically copied in our target. But if it wasn't, and we had to add the tag number 1 here, one way would be to copy our source in the target column, like that, and then you can delete the English text and write the translation in Greek. Okay, by keeping the tag there. Another way would be to go here. We are on the translation tab, and you click on next placeable, which is the tag. If you click on that, there is a red outline here around the first word of this segment. Clicking again here, it will go to the next word. Next. next, next. So it gives you the option to choose which one you want to be copied in your target text. So I go here, or if I want to go back, I click on previous placeable and it goes back to the first one. And if I'm sure that this is the one that I want, I click on copy placeable. And then it is copied in my target text. And I can go on and write blah, blah, blah. Okay. However, it is quite important that you have placed the, okay, well, doesn't matter. I want that. Okay. Let's go here. It is quite important that you place the mouse on the exact spot of the text that you want the placeable to be copied to. So you write your translation here, but there is more. You can customize your, and then you have to place number 2 placeable exactly after the translation of the word your. So let's say that we agree with this translation here, okay? And we want it to be copied to our target. Okay, in this case, we have the placeables already, but if we didn't, and I had to place the placeable number 2 before Tassimo T20, I have to go exactly here, and then again, translation, next placeable. It starts from the beginning of the segment, but, and it goes number 2. This is the one that I want, copy placeable, and it is placed exactly where I want it to be placed. Okay. And this is how you copy every placeable in the whole text. It is very important that you don't forget to do that, because if you do that, you will need much more time to fix the formatting of your target language after you export it from the cut tool. All right. So after you are finished and you go on the last segment here and you confirm your translation here, it is very important that, okay, doesn't matter. It is very important that you check if this is the last segment of the whole text or just this page. What do I mean by that? If you go, I'll show you right now. You can see if it is the last or the first segment. But for some reason, we cannot see it right now. Here, it's the View tab, where you can choose if you want to show or hide the outline. This outline is the number of segments of the whole document. It's not always the same as this one, because here you can see the number of segments of this block. A block on WordFast is like a page. You might have 100 blocks in your document. You won't be able to see all of them in one block, one page. So WordFast chooses to divide them into something like pages, blocks. So number 47 could be the last segment of this page, of this block. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is the last segment of the whole document. How do you know that? Because after you have translated the scaling and you confirm your translation by Alt and down or by clicking on close and commit, you will have to see a little message on your screen which says that you have reached the end of the translation and you are ready to go. If you confirm the last segment that you can see and this message doesn't pop up on your screen, it means that you should be suspicious because it probably means that you have another block to translate. All right, so we are here, and if you see there is a button which says previous block, next block, previous segment, next segment, first of the block, which means that it will take you to the first segment. I confirmed the last segment, and this is the message that I see. Congratulations, you completed this document's translation. You can revise it the same way you translated it by reopening segments from the beginning and editing them if needed. When it's final, you can download your file. That message popped up because I confirmed the last segment. All right. And I clicked on first of block, which takes me to the first segment of this block, which here happens to be the first one of the whole document. But that's not always the case, okay? Because you might have, as we said, 100 blocks in one document, which means that you will have 100 of these, exactly this. So after you're finished with this one, if we had a second block, we would have to click on next block and start translating again, like we did here. So it is very important that you wait for this message. If you don't see it, it means that there is something that hasn't been translated yet, and you should search for more blocks that are probably uploaded in your document. Here, you can show or hide your glossary, like that. The same one with TMs. And the outline, which is the number of segments here of the whole document again, not just this block, the whole document. You might have 1000 segments here and 47 here, because these ones are from this block, these ones are from all the blocks. You can show it or hide it. After you are finished with your translation, you go on Review tab and you can do a spell check to see if there is something that you have typed wrong. And after that, you go to Edit, Find and Replace, and you search for double spaces, perhaps, a space and a full stop, a space and a comma, which should not be like that normally. It is wrong. All right, so you have to correct that. You can either just find something, you might want to find a word. And if you have a document with 1000 blocks, you won't be able to scroll through all of them to find the word. So you just go on the Edit tab, you click on Find and Replace, and you can either just find a word, for example, brew, find, no segments found. Why is that? Because if you open the advanced search, you can see that I wanted it to search the target text. No, I wanted to search the source text. Now it should be able to find the word brew. Here. 6 hits on the following segments. Segment number 19, the barcode printed on every, etc., etc., etc. Let's go to 19, sorry. Here. Brewing time. 25, number 25. Many drinks can be brewed. Number 28, included with brewer purchase, etc., etc., etc. If there is a word that you just realize in the middle of your translation that you have been translating completely wrong and you want it to be replaced everywhere within the text with a different translation, you click on Find and Replace. You find the word that you want to be changed, and you write with which word you want it to be replaced. However, this is not always recommended because there might be just one segment that should not be changed and you have forgotten about it. So we always recommend replacing it manually and one by one, not all together with find and replace. But when you have a text of 10,000 words, this is impossible to do. So you can use this option here. Okay. So you have reviewed your translation. You have done your spell check. You have searched for double spaces, space and full stop, etc., etc. And after that, WordFast gives you the option to do a final check on your translation. And this is a trans check report. So you click on that. Transcheck will conduct an audit of quality criteria such as compliance with tags or uppercase. Currently selected criteria. You can change that if you want. I wouldn't recommend it because the ones that are here are completely okay. So you click on check. And because we have not translated anything, there is nothing for us to see here. But if we did confirm this segment, for example, by going in translation and close commit, okay, here, close. Let's copy the translation that we see and then confirm it, and again, and again, and again. All right. And then we can go here and see if we see any results. Which we can't. If there is an error with your translation, you will be able to see it with your transcheck report. All right. All right. This one we deleted. So we'll move on to the next segment. We are here, I believe. Yes. If we agree with the translation, we click on copy to you and we confirm it. Next one, same thing. I'm trying to find some errors so that we can see something on the transcheck report for you to understand what it's all about. Okay, and if we go here and we confirm that, okay, right. All right, review and transcheck. Transcheck. We cannot see any results yet because there are no errors yet in our translation. So if there are errors with missing tags or something that should be translated differently according to your TM or TB, and you forgot about it or you didn't look it up and you translated it incorrectly, it should appear in your transcheck report, which you can then afterwards download. Okay. After you have finished your translation and you have reviewed your translation, it is time for you to download the final file. So you go here on the File tab and you click on Download. The document that we have imported is already bilingual, so we don't have to change anything here. We just leave the dot here on the Translated Documents option. We click on OK. OK. Download file. OK. There are many options for you to choose from. Send file to an email and you insert the email here. Create file URL on Google Drive, Dropbox, or OneDrive. Now we'll be working with local files mainly, so we will just download the file. Okay. And it gets downloaded here on a TXML format, which is the format of texts that are exported from WordFast and other cut tools as well. Okay. That's pretty much everything you need to know about WordFast. Of course, there are more advanced options, as you can see here. But the ones that we saw already should be enough for you to start translating with it. Do you have any questions? Yes, Federica. Mariana, yes, the shortcut is Alt and down, as we said before. And Federica, it's completely up to you, because the one that I'm showing you right now is a free one, online one. So it's totally up to you, whichever works best for you. Any other questions? You're very welcome. Anything else before we move on to MateCat? Although if you have understood WordFast, MateCat will be a piece of cake for you. All right, since there are no other questions, I uploaded the text once again so that we will be able to see the transcheck report, and now it works. So after you finished your translation and you have confirmed your translation on every segment here, which means that the TMs and the TBs will be updated with your results, all of them, all of the TMs and all of the TBs will get your results. You go here and you click on transcheck and check, and here you can see all of the segments that are, let's say, problematic. For example, segment number 1, empty target. I have not translated anything yet, so this is correct. Segment number 1, source consistency. Segment number 2, same thing. Segment number 2, tags 1 from source are missing from target. So this is a message that you will be seeing if you forget to place a placeable in the target text. To download this report, because it is possible that a client or your project manager asks for this report so that they can see that you have corrected everything that you should have in your translation. And once you deliver your translation and this report, you should note in your email that all of the things that you will see in the report are false positives, which means that they are not actually wrong, but for some reason WordFast thinks that they are. The thing is that if you say that something is false positive, it means that you saw it, you checked it, and you're sure that it's not wrong. But for some reason, it appears in a transcheck report. So when you deliver it, you should write in your email that that everything that you can see in the report is false positive. All right, so that your project manager or your client is sure that nothing in your translation is really wrong. So to download this report, you go on the last segment, segment that it says there is something wrong with it, and you click on View HTML Report. It should look like this. Here you see the type of mistake, empty target. The segment ID, the block ID, as we said, you might have more blocks. Source, text, target, text, and the comment. What is wrong about this segment? Placeables, the tags. Missing, 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 because we have not translated it yet. Source consistency. This has to do with your source text, which says that here features is not in capitals, here features is in capitals. The same with the rest. Right. You check everything. If you find that something here is really wrong, you go back to your translation, you correct it, and then you do the transcheck report once again. And this one should not have the same mistake in it if you have corrected it. It should only have your false positives in it. So to download this one, as we saw, you click on transcheck, check, you go on the very last one, you click on View HTML Report, and then anywhere on this report, you have to do a right click here and save as. I always suggest saving it as it is, web page complete, locally on your desktop. If I save it, it should appear on my desktop once it's downloaded. And it should look like this. And this is the one that you send to your project manager or your client, this one. Right. So after you're finished, you save your transcheck report and your file. I'll show you once again how we do that. File, download, translated document. Okay. Okay. Download file. All right. And there you have it. This one does not open by its own. So if you download it and you double click on it, you won't be able to see the text. You can only see it if you open it in WordFast again. All right. So that's everything about WordFast. we will delete this text. Oh, let me show you how you download the updated TMs and TBs, just in case, if you want, if your client again or your project manager asks for the updated TMs and TBs, which should now, after you're finished, have your results in them. Or maybe you want to save them for your own reference, have them in your computer and use them on future projects. Again, you choose which one you want to download, update it. You just click on it. One click is enough. And you click on download. You don't mess with those two. Download. Download file and OK. There we have it. This is the updated TM, the first one. As you can see, the TM that we created now has 12 translation units in it. So it has been updated with our results. I can also download this one in the same way. And the same applies for TBs. You choose the TB that you want to download. You click on download and download and OK. As you can see, the text that you download from WordFast has a TXML format. That is important for you to remember because we will need it in XBench. The TM that is imported or exported from WordFast also has a specific format, which is a TXT. This type of file only works for WordFast. If we were using Studio, TXT wouldn't be working for us. It should be a TMX. And then the glossary is also a TXT. All right. Is everything clear? Should we move on to MateCat? Yes, I like your enthusiasm. Perfect. We close that then. And we go here, MateCat. You can simply create your own profile in MateCat. All you have to do is give an email and create a password of your own. Nothing more. You don't have to pay. You don't have to set up MateCat. Nothing. It's quite simple, actually. So I have already logged in my account. And let's get started. This is the user interface for MateCat. We can give a name for our project. Project number 1. All right. From English into Greek. The text that we will be using is a legal one, so we can as well fill this in. Legal document. And then I have to upload the text. You can either drag and drop it here, or you can click here to browse. I may as well do that. And we will be using this one. As you probably saw, or you can see now, this text is also a TXML1 in MateCat. Okay. But the memory that we will be uploading here by clicking on more settings. Let's see a little bit the options that we already have here. You can enable or disable for you to for MateCat to pre-translate 100% matches from TM. There is a public TM in MateCat, and if you enable that, you will be able to see the pre-translated text of 100% matches that this TM finds for your text. And then you will be able to work on this pre-translated text, something like a post-editing. So I like to have this enabled. There is this memory. This is the memory that I'm talking about, the public TM. I have it on lookup mode. I cannot edit the public TM, but it gets updated with my results. Okay. And if we click on the next tab, machine translation, so there is a machine translation from Google Translate and Microsoft Translator. If you want, you can have it enabled or disabled. It's totally up to you. I like to have this enabled too. And then we go back to translation memory and glossary to add our translation memory. I click on new resource and I will give a name in my translation memory. Let's say legal and L, which is English to Greek. I want it to be on lookup mode so that I can see results from it and search in it for terms and translation units. And I also want it to be updated with my results. I click on confirm. And then I have to import it. So import TMX. That's the difference with WordFast. WordFast works with TXT format translation memories. MateCat needs a TMX format. So I click on import TMX, choose file, and then I will import my TM in TMX format. All right. Since once it is uploaded, I click on confirm. Import complete. Perfect. Now I have two translation memories in my project. I can close that. I have already uploaded my text and I'm ready to analyze the file. All right. So if you want, you can click on download analysis report for your own reference, mostly, which gets downloaded in zip format. But it's more or less these results. Here you have the total, you have the new words, the repetitions, internal matches, as we talked about before, 75 to 99%. TM partial matches from 50 to 74. TM partial from 75 to 84. Those are all fuzzy matches. That's what they're called. 100% from my TM, the one that I uploaded, and 100% from the public TM. Machine translation, I have 85% results. All right. If you download it, you can save it on your desktop. And after that, you are ready to start translating. So you click on translate. And this is the text that you will be working with. So we are on the first segment here. These are the numbers of the segments, a little bit different from WordFast. But you can also see tags, placeables here. All right. So the translation that I see here, as I can see under that, I have 3 translation matches. The first one is a 100% match from the public TM, which is why I can see it here already as pre-translated. I have a 99% match from my TM, and then another 99% match from the public TM. So I choose which one I agree with. I write it here, and if I'm sure, I click on translate it. The next segment, in order for me to be able to edit it, I have to click on the little locket here so that it opens, it unlocks, and I can start editing the pre-translated text. Here, as you can see from the translation matches, I have a 101% match from the public TM, which means that it is also a match on a context level, not just a translation of the words, but also regarding the context. So theoretically, there is no reason to doubt that this translation is correct. But as translators, you always have to doubt and go back and check it once again. So I have 3 matches from the TMs. And here you can see this little green highlighted comma. This one is this one, the number 1 here, notification. If you click on it, it takes you here. And if you go over it, it says space after punctuation mark missing. Because in Greek, after you write a comma, you always have to type a space. After I do that, and I click on translated, I'm ready to go on to the next segment. The placeables, as you can see, have already been copied to the target text because it was a 101% match, so it was enabled from me to see the pre-translated results. Okay. Otherwise, you would have again to copy the tags from the source to your target. Okay. Right. Translated. As you can see here, I have another green highlighted comma, so it is locked, so we'll unlock it. I will go here, space, and translate it. Okay. Tag mismatch. Press Alt and T shortcut to add tags or delete extra tags. This is the notification that I get because number 7 tag is missing from my target. So I go here. And then I choose the tag that I want to insert with Alt plus T, 7. I insert it, translate it, and the notification goes away. Okay. Now let's say that I have these results here on a TU level again. This one is a TU, a translation unit, but I want to look up a single word from my text, the word purchaser, for example. So I will take this word, copy, and then I can go on TM search here and just search for this single word, purchaser. And I will see the results that I have from my public TM in this case. Let's find another word. Date. Public TM, public TM, public TM. Okay, in 3 different formats. If I also had a glossary, which you can import in the same way that we imported the TM, I would be able to look it up in my glossary. But since we don't have any, we won't see any results if we do that. So if we go here, for example, you will see that I do have a pre-translated text here, but there is no translated button for me to click on, as we did previously. There is another one which says guess tags on it. And if you click on it, you will see that there were hidden tags in the source and the target text. So once you click on guess tags, you will be able to see all of them in both columns, source and target. So MateCut does not allow you to mark a segment as translated unless you make the hidden tags appear, because if you don't, you will have the wrong formatting in your target text. Those tags here stand for something. Probably purchaser should be in bold, supplier as well. Lay down that should be in italics, for example, let's say, I don't know. And if you didn't click on guest tags, you wouldn't be able to see them. So you would just translate without any formatting, which is wrong, because then you will need much more time to fix that in the end, after you export the text and you compare it to your source. So after I'm sure that I have imported all the correct tags, here, for example, I can see that the tags should be before and after the translation of the word purchaser, which is not the case here. So I just cut the word and I put it in between the tags, like that, so that the word is included in between the correct tags, which is very important because the tags are about the word that you have placed in between them. If you place the wrong word in between them, the formatting will go to the wrong word. All right? So if I'm sure, I click on translated and I move on to the next one. Okay. And this is how you translate with MateCut. It's a quite simple cut tool to begin with. If you want, you have the ability to add a comment on every segment. So you click here, you write your comment. For example, maybe this should stay untranslated, for example. And I click on comment and my comment is uploaded. If I change my mind and I don't want this comment there, I click on resolve and it will be disappeared. Okay? So, okay. After you finish your translation with MateCut, you can also run a quality report here, which is this button right here. After you're sure that you don't have any notifications on your QA tab, you have fixed everything, you click on QR, which is the quality report of MateCut, quite similar to the TransCheck report of WordFast, actually. And you can see everything that is probably wrong with your translation. In this case, we don't have anything, total error points 0. And once again here, you can right-click anywhere you want and save as web page complete on your desktop. After sorry, you are finished with your translation, you click here on download and you can export your XLeaf, which means that you will be exporting your target text, not a bilingual one like we did on WordFast. You will only be exporting your target text, your XLeaf. And you can also export your updated TMX, your updated translation memory. All right. Here you can click on filters around your segments. Okay. So you can only see the ICE. The ICE segments are the ones that are 100 and more % matches, context matches, the 101% that we saw before. This is the ICE. Not ICE, modified ICE, repetitions, machine translation, 100% matches, and the fuzzies. Okay. Is everything clear with MateCat? Right. Federica? Theoretically, there is a way to transform translation memory into a TMX format, but it's a quite complicated one. You will be able to see that in the lessons of Studio Trados, SDL Trados, which is why today we are working with a specific formats of TMs for, well, TMX format of TMs can be used in any CAT tool. The TMX formats can be imported in any CAT tool. The only restriction is with WordFast TMs, which are TXTs. But any TM that it is in TMX format, you are able to use anywhere. Perfect. So let's move on to the quality check. Once we have translated, it is quite important that we check our translation. Okay? And the tool that we will be using to do that is the Xbench. Now, if you want to download the Xbench trial, which I think is for 1 month from our Moodle page, you can do that. But if you decide afterwards, give me 1 moment to insert the passwords. Okay, let's have a 5-minute pause so that I can see what's wrong with the Xbench, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. You can take a breath, you can recharge, and we'll be back in 5 minutes to see the Xbench. All right. Great. So we're back. Could you please check again that you can see me and hear me clearly? Perfect. So let's get started with Xbench. Okay? This is the Xbench user interface, quite simple, I would say. And this is where you import your bilingual texts that you have translated, which means that you will import a text that has both source and target in it. The source text and your translation. And then you will also add the TM that you used while you were translating in another tool, so that Xbench can also check consistency in between your translation and the TM, that everything is translated according to the TM that you should have used while translating. So to do that, you go on Project, New, you click on Add, and then you have to tell Xbench what type of file you will be uploading. Okay, today we will be uploading texts that have been imported to and exported from WordFast. So I will choose this option here, WordFast Pro TXML, which was the format of the file that we downloaded, if you remember. WordFast Pro TXML or TXLF. Next, add file. We can open both of them. Those two are not source and target. Both of them include source and target in them. One of them is the company survey translations, and the other one is the individual survey translations. All right, open. Next, and here I have to again tell Xbench what I wanted to check on these files that I just uploaded. So here, since I uploaded texts and their translations, I wanted to check the ongoing translation. Okay, and now I can see both of them. To add the TM, which I worked with while translating those two texts, again, I click on Add. It will be a TXT translation memory because it was imported to and exported from WordFast. But if it was imported to and exported from Studio, for example, you would have to choose this one, TMX memory. But since our memory today is a TXT, it is a tab delimited text, and this is what I will choose. Next, add file. Next, and here I always have to remember to remove the tick from here and put it here on the key terms, because that's what I want Xbench to check regarding this specific file that I just uploaded, the key terms of my translation memory, that they are consistent with the translation that I have given in the previous two files that I uploaded. So key terms always when I upload a translation memory in Xbench. Okay, and now I will have to see two red dots, which means that I will be checking the ongoing translation on those two files, and a green star, let's say, which means that I will be checking the key terms on this file, which is a TXT format. If if I'm ready, I click on OK. And then this is the search tab. We're not working on this tab, we're working on the QA tab, which is why we're using Xbench. We want to do a quality control. The check group includes the basic, the content, and the checklists. If you want, you can edit the checklists, but I wouldn't recommend it yet. You can click on any option that you want here. You can maybe you want Excellence to show you only the new segments, only the ICE, as we said before, the 101+%. Case-sensitive inconsistencies, which have to do with capital letters or not. Maybe you wanted to ignore tags. I would never do that, personally, because tags are quite difficult to deal with in the first place, so I wouldn't want the final check to ignore them. So if I'm ready with my setup, I click on Check Ongoing Translation. And if I do that, I will be able to see everything that Expense has spotted in my text. In black bold, I can see the type of error that Expense found, which is an inconsistency in target. Here, I can see the files that this error is located at. The first one is the company survey translations on the second segment, as you can see here. Or if you click on it, you can also see it here, second segment. And the same thing, the same source terms are found in the other text, the individual survey translations on the first segment. And Expense tells you here that you have the same source but different target, because on the first case you used the article, and here you didn't. So it says that there is inconsistency in your targets. Choose which one you want to keep and go back and correct the other one. And here I can see that the first one is not a result from a TM, from the TM that I imported, and the second one is a result from the TM, which means that I will be probably keeping this one, and I will go back to my cut tool to WordFast, where I finished my translation. I will go back, reopen my translation, and I will correct this one. And then I will save it, export my file once again from WordFast. I will import it in Expense again, and I shouldn't see this error then. The same applies for the next errors, same thing, inconsistency in target. Let's find another error to see. Wow. Inconsistency in source, which means that you have translated in the same way two different source segments. In this case, the difference is a space in between the two words, last name. On the segments with the light blue color, there is a space in between the two words, and on the segments with the mint color, there is no space in between them. This is a case of false positive error. It's not really an error because this one is not my mistake. I have translated correctly, so I'm okay with that. I don't have to go back and correct anything. The same applies for the next names, of course. Here, alphanumeric mismatch, country code 4, κωδικός χώρας in Greek 4. So again, here, the only inconsistency is that on the first segment I have used, on the second segment I have used capital X on the translation of the word country, and on the first one I haven't. So it would be preferable to go back and correct that so that everything in my translations is consistent. Same thing here. And this way you go on and you check every error that Expense suggests that you do. And after you do that, if you see the errors and you go back to your translation on WordFast and you correct them and you save your document and you export your translated, corrected document from WordFast once again, and you import it in Expense once again, and you only see false positives because you have corrected everything theoretically, you can go on and save the report so that you are able to send it to either your project manager or your client if they have asked you to. So again, you right-click anywhere and you click on Export QA Results. You can save it on your desktop. Never change that. You should always leave it on HTML file because sometimes if you change that, you will be seeing weird characters in your texts and not the real text. So I always use HTML file and save on your desktop. And this is the file that you should be seeing. This is the file that you will send your project manager, your client, if they want you to. And you should reassure them that all the errors in the QA report are false positives, which means that you have already corrected all the real errors and you have only sent the final report, which only includes false positives. All right. Now, if you are here and you're not quite sure if it's a mistake or not, and you're not able to deal with it right now and you want to come back and check it later, you can right-click on it and click on Mark Issue. If you do that, this little X appears here, and in the end, after you have finished everything and you want Expense to only show you the ones that you have marked as provisional, let's say, it's the corresponding for provisional from WordFast, the ones that I have to check again. You go on Filter, or one moment. You go on Filter Issues and you click on Show Marked, and it doesn't show me anything. Hi. Let's go back. Show Marked, check ongoing translation, and you will see the one that we just marked. If we go back and let's find it. Here it is. And I want to unmark it. I do the same thing. I right-click on it and I click on the same thing, Unmark Issue. And it's disappeared from here. And if I go again to Show Marked, check ongoing translation, I won't see anything because I just removed it. Okay, it's not a marked segment anymore. Maybe I want Expense to show me everything except from the ones that I have marked, which I want to see in the end, maybe. I go here. In this case, it's the whole text because I don't have anything marked. Okay. In Expense, you have the ability to search terms inside your TM while checking your text here. Maybe I don't agree, or I don't remember the TM giving me the result that it says here. So I go to the Search tab and I search for a term. Let's say business sponsor. Okay. If I click enter, I can see the results from the TM right here. I don't have to open it again in WordFast and go and search with concordance or anything. I can search it directly here, since provided that I have uploaded the TM as we did in the beginning. If I'm not sure about something and I want to Google it, you can also do that inside Expense. So again, if I want to search for a business sponsor. I will see all the Google results here. Okay, so you have the search tab, which is where you can search for translation units inside your TM, provided that you have uploaded it. The Internet tab, where you can search for things on Google. And your QA tab, which is your main tab in Expense, where you can see all the errors, and you can go back to your cut tool and correct them, and then save your report once again by clicking right and export QA results and saving them locally on your desktop. Is everything clear with Expense? You sure you don't have any questions? Yes, Federica, it's on Moodle, where you have already been registered. You go to the crash course in CAD tools, and you download the trial. I will send you the link if you wish. It's a quite easy procedure, but it's very important that if you download the trial, it's fine, it only lasts for 1 month. But if you like Expense and you decide to go on and get the paid version and pay for it, you should always remember that Expense charges you with by the hour, not by projects, not by words, not by anything, by the hour. And this is very important because if you are finished here and you click here on the X, close, Expense will disappear from your desktop, but it will continue running in the background of your desktop. So you will continue you will still be charged for that, although you won't be using it. So once you're finished, always remember to go here, project, and shut down Expense, not close, shut down. If you click on close, or from here, if I try to reopen it, I will see this message. AppSig Expense is already loaded. Use Control, Alt, and Insert to reopen it. And it reopens it so that I have a second chance to shut it down so that I will stop being charged for something that I'm not using. So if you decide to get the paid version, always remember to shut down Expense. Otherwise, you will be charged for something that you're not using. Do you have any questions? You're very welcome, Federica. Well, it's the most important thing if you decide to buy Expense, to pay for it. All right. If you're sure that you don't have any more questions and that everything is clear, we can say goodbye for now. I'm always at your disposal. You can submit your questions on Moodle if you want. It was very nice showing you everything today, and you're very welcome. and I hope to see you soon on another lesson. Till then, stay safe. Bye.